After defeating the evil scorpion tiger Zhang Peng with a single spirit technique, the MCU told the Black Dragon Emperor Long Xiao Yao to accept his challenge. As promised, Long Xiao said that he would spare their lives and accept the challenge of fighting. He said that if Yu Hu's attack made him move even by an inch, then he wouldn't take the spirit ring from Yu Hu and would also spare his life, along with the principal, Yan, and Headmaster Xian's lives. Therefore, both Yu Hu and Long Xiao went down in battle. Yu Hu took his time and gathered spirit energy to attack Long Xiao with his full might. After replenishing his energy for a while, he charged toward Long Xiao and attacked with his most powerful and destructive punch. After a massive explosion caused by his punch, Yu Hu looked at Long and was surprised that his punch didn't have any effect on him. Long blocked his punch with just his magical barrier. After the first technique failed, Yu Hu almost immediately launched another attack. This time he attacked with his ice technique called Ice Emperor Fury. Yu Hu was sure that this time his attack would work, as it was one of his deadliest attacks. However, once again, Long didn't flinch by a bit. Long endured the attack because it wasn't even a threat to him. When his second attack also failed, Yu Hu realized that he couldn't win by simple methods, as he was facing an extremely higher Du Luo, who was about the same age and had arguably equal strength compared to his late master Mu Luo. Even at his full strength, Yu Hu wasn't able to do any harm to him. Long told him that if he had only those two moves, then he wouldn't be able to stop him from taking his ring. However, Yu Hu wasn't ready to give up yet. He came closer to Long and gently touched Long's arm with his palm. Long immediately noticed that it wasn't just a mistake, as he felt a gentle spiritual energy flowing into his arm through Yu Hu's palm. As expected, it was Yu Hu's ice explosion skill. That skill froze Long's forearm, which made him lower his guard. Yu Hu took advantage of the situation and simultaneously attacked his lower abdomen with his Emperor Sword technique called Unrivaled Absolute Ice Sword. As Long didn't expect two simultaneous attacks, it caught him off guard. Therefore, Yu Hu finally succeeded in landing a blow. Principal Yan was surprised to see that Yu Hu actually managed to make the Dragon Emperor Long Xiao fall back by 10 meters. He was impressed by his young master's rapid growth and unconventional ways of achieving his goals. Yu Hu coughed up some blood, as using two different spirit techniques had a huge toll on his body, but he recovered quickly. Long Xiao praised Yu Hu's spiritual essence and techniques, and said that he had realized why Mu Luo made him his disciple, even though he was taking his last breaths. Therefore, he admitted his defeat, and decided to spare their lives as promised. Principal Yan knew that enduring Yu Hu's attack head-on was a piece of cake for Long. However, due to protecting his manly pride, he stepped back unconsciously. In the meantime, while Long Xiao was giving them his regards and was going back on his way, Yan's reinforcements arrived. It was Xuan Lao and his subordinates. After arriving, Xuan asked Yu Hu whether he was all right, and also asked him, while pointing toward Long Xiao, who he was and what he wanted. He replied that it was the Black Dragon Emperor, Long Xiao. Xuan was shocked to hear that, because he didn't expect Long Xiao to be alive till that day. He never thought that someone equally famous as Mu Lao would still be alive. Yu Hu asked him whether Long and Master Mu were friends back in the past. As Long was talking about Mu again and again, Xuan replied that to bring up that tale, it would take some time. It was a legendary tale filled with gratitude and grudges. He started the tale by saying that Long and Mu were close friends, opponents, and love rivals back in the day. He said that Mu was born from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon family, which had been around for 10,000 years. At the age of 18, his spirit level reached grade 69. He was gifted with such tremendous power, which was still unattainable for people till that day. Throughout his life, he possessed the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon to Holy Radiant Dragon Spirit Essence. He led the Shrek Academy's team in the Continental Tournament. During that tournament, he met Long Xiao. That was the moment when both of them faced each other for the first time. Along with them, there was also a young and beautiful woman spirit master known as Ye Shi Shui. Their strength was also on par with each other. Together, they led their respective teams in the tournament, and as everyone expected, all three of them secured top 3 positions. Due to mutual respect for each other, the three of them became close friends. They even sparred, cultivated, and traveled the continent after the tournament. 10 years passed by, and all of them became expert spirit Du Luos. However, in those 10 years, both Mu Luo and Long Xiao had developed feelings for Ye Shi, which were buried deep in their hearts. But they were brothers in arms and didn't want to hurt each other. Therefore, they decided to let Ye make the final decision. In the following year, both of them went to Ye and proposed their idea, asking her to choose one of them. However, Ye had feelings for both of them because their personalities and aura were similar to each other. As a result, she told them that after a year, they would battle with each other, and whoever won the battle, she would date that person. Both of them agreed and prepared themselves for the battle. However, When the time came, neither of them appeared on the battlefield. Each of them thought that Ye might like the other person, so their yearning for love didn't win over rationality. On the other hand, Ye waited for 3 days at the rendezvous place, but no one appeared. Her heart, full of anticipation, turned into neglect, grief, and discontent. Both Mu and Long decided to focus on their cultivation after mopping for a period of time. Another 10 years passed by, and Mu and Long had started their own families. Suddenly one day, Ye attacked the Shrek Academy to challenge Mu for a fight. Mu was surprised by her sudden surge of spirit power and cultivation, but even more surprising was that she possessed an evil aura, which he had never seen before. He had no choice but to use the sovereign decree to defeat her. However, because of Mu's pleas, he was forced to detain her in the Shrek Academy. She was kept in detention for 10 days, until a bunch of evil spirit masters attacked the academy to free her. Mu tried his best to protect the academy and stop the invasion, but he failed and was terribly injured in the process. When the evil spirit masters were leaving after retrieving Ye, Mu saw Ye's face for the last time. The only thing he saw was a pair of eyes full of hatred. He remained puzzled despite much thought as to how she became so evil. After recovering from his injuries, Mu went out toward Long Xiao to tell him about the situation. After reaching their destination, both of them had a big clash, and both of the sides suffered. After the heat decreased, they told each other everything that happened in the past. Both of them were shocked by the fact that they made the same decision back then. Therefore, to clear the misunderstandings, they decided to meet Ye and tell her everything. That was the time when the twin holy dragons of black and white resurfaced on the face of the continent once again. Upon meeting Ye again, they couldn't believe their eyes. Her hair had already turned grayish-white and was engulfed with a viscous evil aura. Before they could explain themselves, she attacked them with all her might. Both of them were caught off guard by her tremendous spirit power and were shocked to see that she already surpassed both of them in terms of spiritual energy. As a result, they were defeated badly and were critically hurt. However, instead of killing them right away, she interrogated them and asked why they humiliated her that day. They laughed bitterly and told her everything that happened that year. She didn't believe them at first, but they were already on the verge of death then and couldn't lie. She fell onto the ground, cried with all her heart, and said that 3 men ruined all her life. She told them that she waited for 3 days straight and no one came. Enraged and humiliated to death, she cultivated tirelessly to make herself strong to take her revenge. However, she was too impatient and went overboard. An evil spirit master came to her help, who was also her current husband. But this caused a transformation in her personality and spirit essence by making her evil. And the group of evil spirit masters who helped her to get away from the detention was also her husband's doings. However, he died soon after returning due to injuries caused by fighting Mu. Since things had reached such a stage, Mu and Long didn't know what to do. Ye asked them to take an oath that they would never call each other brothers again and would fight 10 years later to death. As they didn't have any other choice, they accepted her demand and took an oath to fight 10 years later. Hence, they fought over and over again to death till both of them reached 100 years old and reached transcendent spirit dulo level. Later on, Ye left a message that on their 100th year, it would be their last fight, and if no one won, she would destroy the entire continent. Mu and Long's feelings were to be put aside. Instead, it grew even stronger, and once again their feelings for her deepened. At that time, both of their wives were already dead. Therefore, the person who won the fight would marry Ye. However, before the last fight, a person who was Dubizi's brother invaded the academy. To defend the academy, Mu gave his all and was irreversibly injured during the process. It took him several months just to restore his vitality, but he couldn't return to his glory days as Holy Radiant Dragon. Therefore, the fight between him and Long never happened. From that year, Ye and Long were never seen again. Everyone thought that they might have died too. By listening to this tale, Yuho became furious and said how dare Long call Mu a brother when he was so despicable. Xuan said that nobody knows the real truth except Long himself. That's why it would be too soon to talk bad about him. Yuho asked Xuan whether Long could know anything about the Holy Ghost Church that they discovered, and perhaps he could be collaborating with the Sun Moon Empire. Xuan denied and said that it couldn't be possible, as the continent was in raging times and the Sun Moon Empire was continuously monitoring the continent. However, he was relieved that Long wouldn't attack the academy anymore because of his respect toward Mu. But things for other countries didn't look good. Yuho was sad because the time was rough on him. He thought that if he had been born 20 years earlier, then his cultivation and power level could have been higher. However, he knew that being depressed wouldn't help him, so he remained steadfast and decided to overcome challenges one by one. And his first challenge was the Intercontinental High School's tournament of high-level spirit masters. As a part of Shrek Academy's main forces, everything was to begin with the glory of Shrek Academy in the tournament. After returning to Shrek, Juan asked Yu-Ho to stay at the Poseidon Pavilion until he arranged some place for him to stay when the school activities ended. Yu-Ho became curious because other than examinations, he didn't know about any other activities. Juan smiled cunningly and told him to wait and see for himself. After saying that, Juan left while Yu-Ho was still standing in the middle of the road. Yu-Ho was curious about the activities, but he ignored it and decided to meet his seniors and juniors in the academy. While planning to meet his colleagues, he suddenly saw a beautiful girl with blue hair passing by. Yu-Ho was flabbergasted by a mere sight of her and stood still in his place. He hadn't seen anyone so beautiful before. While passing by, a handkerchief from the girl's hand slipped and flew toward Yu-Ho unintentionally caught the handkerchief without realizing, as he was too busy admiring her beauty. The girl approached him and asked for it. He instinctively handed it over and tried to say something, but she left as soon as she retrieved it. Before handing it over, Yu-Ho saw a name written on it, Wang Chu. He meant to ask her earlier if she was Wang Dong's sister, but he was ignored. He asked himself whether it would be a good idea to chase her and ask directly. Although it seemed disrespectful to ask directly, still he chased her. She was surprisingly fast, and as a result, she vanished into the crowd. He was dumbfounded by her looks that he forgot to lock onto her spirit essence, therefore losing her. He looked here and there for a moment and then went back to meet his colleagues when no clue was found. However, Wang Chu was still there, hiding behind the wall, watching Yu-Ho. She was relieved that Yu-Ho didn't catch her, and then smiled for an unknown reason in the end. After returning to the academy, Yu-Ho first met Nana, who was standing in the yard. She was very happy to see him after a long time. Soon after, the first senior, B.I. Bei, also came out. B.I. greeted Yu-Ho and welcomed him to the academy. Together with B.I., he went inside the dorms, where he met his second and third senior brothers. It was a pleasant meeting, and they enjoyed their time together. B.I. then told Yu-Ho about the situation of the Tang sect. He said that the Tang sect was growing quite rapidly in the past 2 years, mainly consisting of drawings that Yu-Ho sent back. Tang sect had home affairs for the management of members and soul tools, while foreign affairs were responsible for outer matters. Tang sect had grown in power as well, as they were producing 10 godly huge cannons every month with the help of Shrek Academy, which were ultimately sold to Shrek Academy. Yu-Ho then asked B.I. about the first, fourth, and fifth senior sisters. B.I. said that they were preparing for the next day's special event. Yu-Ho became curious again, because since he got back, everyone around him was talking about the same event. However, B.I. told him that he would tell him everything in the dining area. In the dining area, Yu-Ho was surprised to see that wine was being served. He asked his seniors whether it was also because of the event. They replied positively and said that it was the single night. Yu-Ho didn't understand what they said and asked for details. The seniors told him that the next day's event was actually a blind date event, where boys and girls would try to find their possible life partners. This was also the reason that there were only boys in the dining area, so they could prepare themselves for the upcoming event. Yu-Ho then asked the purpose of the event because it seemed ridiculous to him. However, B.I. said that it was the tradition of the academy, as most of the academy's members were too busy in cultivation that they had no time to socialize romantically with the opposite gender. Yu-Ho was scared to death by thinking about it because he had some experience in battles, but none in the field of love. He asked B.I. whether he could forfeit from the event. B.I. refused, saying that he was one of the 7 Shrek devils, therefore if he forfeited, then it would ruin their reputation. However, Bei's words didn't ease him up, and he remained stressed. The third senior came to his rescue and consoled him by telling him 3 general techniques. The third senior said to him that he only needed bravery, care, and thick skin to impress any girl. Yu-Ho knew that he was like a blank paper when it came to such things, but somehow, deep in his heart, he knew that if he met Wang Chu, then he would be better. After some time, while Yu-Ho was having fun with his colleagues, someone called his name.